From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, May 28th. Happy Friday, everybody. It is Carb Day at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The last chance for drivers to get out on the track in order for final adjustments for Sunday's Indy 500. And it's going to be a wet one. Our Storm Track 8 team says there are going to be some breaks in the rain throughout the day, so hopefully teams are able to get some laps in. So after the last raindrop, it takes 2 hours before they can start running laps again. So we'll see what happens there. We are cooling off starting today. We're going to get to the highs in the low 70s today. Tomorrow is dry and sunny, but very cool. Highs in the 50s and 60s. Then Sunday for race day, it's going to be picture perfect. Lots of sunshine with highs in the low to mid 70s. And Monday, Memorial Day, is looking very nice as well. A key Senate vote on creating a January 6th commission is pushed back. It was on course to happen last night, but instead, Republican action on a different bill pushed the commission issue back. The commission vote could now happen later today. At this point, the measure does not appear to have enough Republican support to pass. Lisa Murkowski, Mitt Romney, and Susan Collins say that they do support moving the bill forward. 7 others would have to join them. Former House Speaker Paul Ryan is urging the Republican Party to reject former President Trump. During a speech at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in California last night, Ryan warned that the GOP was drifting from the core principles of conservatism.
Once again, we conservatives find ourselves at a crossroads. And here's the reality that we have to face. If the conservative cause depends on the populist appeal of one personality or of second-rate imitations, then we're not going anywhere.
Ryan was the first speaker in the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation's Time for Choosing Speaker series. And this morning, the Biden administration says it'll consider a Republican counter-proposal to the president's infrastructure plan. Republicans presented their plan yesterday. It comes in just shy of $1 trillion, with half of it specifically for bridges and roads, $98 billion to public transit, $56 billion for airports, and $46 billion for rails. It also directs $21 billion to safety and $22 billion for ports and waterways, $72 billion for water infrastructure, and $65 billion for broadband. Republicans say they crafted it around direct conversations with the president.
We've had a lot of good dialogue with the White House. We're trying to get to that common goal of reaching a bipartisan infrastructure agreement that we talked about in the Oval Office with the president several weeks ago, and I talked with him even previous to that. We believe that this counteroffer delivers on what President Biden told us in the Oval Office that day.
Biden's plan would get funding in part from tax increases on corporations. Republicans want to pay for much of theirs by repurposing COVID-19 funds. The president and Republican leader are set to meet next week. IMPD is looking to move forward after analyzing how it handled the riots downtown last year after the killing of George Floyd and Dre'Jon Reed. An independent review panel released a report, and that is leading to changes. IMPD says policing will continue to change as technology, communities, and standards grow, and how best practices can better serve the community. Now they've put in place 3 changes since the city of Indianapolis saw outrage. Katie Wisely reports.
Fire in the streets, sirens blaring, and innocent people hurt.
We had over 12 officers injured. We had buildings destroyed. People's apartment lobbies were set afire. One lady almost lost her leg kicking through a glass.
This is the image of Indianapolis, May 29th and 30th of 2020.
It's traumatic. It's something that hit the heart of the city.
A report released in February details repeated lack of guidance, communication, and planning from police and the mayor that allowed downtown Indianapolis to be engulfed in flames and violent behavior.
I did not see that lack of communication. We had a law enforcement team and a city team that was there to make those responses. We're not going to agree with everything in the report, and we're not supposed to.
The report was from a 3-person response review committee and released by Mayor Joe Hogsett's office.
Our political structure, who was responsible for making strategic decisions related to that, were unprepared, undertrained, and they lacked communication. Officers who even participated in good faith in that report made very clear that not only did the report not fairly represent their statements, but often it actually misrepresented them to the fact that it was the opposite of what the officers said.
IMPD Special Operations Commander Brian Mahone says if something like this were to happen again, they would be better prepared, like new equipment for officers. That includes carrying a small fire extinguisher, also a better outline for scattering riot control agents, and better communication with protesters.
We need to do a better job of communicating that to people who are there to peacefully protest that it's time for them to maybe leave the area so they're not wrapped up in something that has become illegal.
Police say they will give future protesters warnings and time to leave while using downtown PA systems.
When you have people screaming at you and throwing stuff at you in your town, that kind of takes a toll on you.
The city also changed its police use of force policy soon after the riots. The new policy bans chokeholds, although IMPD says there weren't any incidents of that in the city. During the riots, we watched as police used chemical spray and batons to try to get control of the crowds. The new policy says officers can use department-issued tasers, chemical spray, and batons, but the officer has to justify using any force.
If we're asking ourselves how we can get better and we're continuing to do that, and we ask people to hold us accountable, we hold ourselves accountable. We can strive and grow our police department as we go in the future.
1 year later, Indianapolis is rebuilding physically and emotionally.
Again, that was Katie Wisely reporting. News 8 did request an interview with the mayor. His office declined that request multiple times. And IMPD's Crime Gun Intelligence Center is linking a significant amount of crime in the city to gang activity. 4 suspected gang members are in jail over a feud between 2 groups that resulted in the death of a teenager. A captain with the center says it's been collecting data for about 2.5 years.
We started looking at numbers on that last year to try to quantify the gang problem. That 35 to 40% number comes up. My gut tells me it's a lot higher than that.
Captain Mike Bruin says gangs are now more informal. Intelligence analysts say gangs are not tied to only geographic areas anymore. And there's new video out of the scene of the San Jose shooting that left 9 people dead in California. The video shows the suspected shooter walking around buildings in the rail yard during the shooting. You can find that video on wishtv.com right now. But then yesterday, people gathered together for a vigil for the victims. Some brought flowers, others carried signs. One survivor of the shooting describes what happened during the violence.
He walked by other people. He let other people live as he gunned down other people. I went to check to see if anybody was alive, if I could do anything for anybody, and watched people take their last breath.
Investigators haven't released anything about a motive for the shooting. The option of virtual learning is not going away at Indianapolis Public Schools. Families can opt out of the district's model that goes to 100% in-person learning and opt in to one of the approved partnerships with 2 virtual learning academies. One is Paramount Online Academy. It has 558 spots for K through 8 students. Phelan Virtual Leadership Academy is the second option. It has 2,000 K through 8 spots and 500 9 through 12th openings. And 10 Purdue students could win the cost of in-state undergrad tuition. The school's running a lottery of sorts for people who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. The old golden ticket contest is for current students enrolled at the West Lafayette campus in the fall. Students are asked to submit valid proof of vaccination by July 15th. The winners will be chosen randomly and announced by July 29th. Purdue is not requiring students and staff to be vaccinated, but the university is recommending that people get the shot. AAA predicts 60% more people will travel for Memorial Day this year than last year. According to the association, more than 37 million people are expected to travel 50 miles or more from home between yesterday and Monday. Last year, AAA reports 23 million people traveled during the pandemic. That is the lowest number on record since the company started tracking in 2000. AAA says this weekend's prediction is almost 6 million fewer from travelers in 2019. And hitting the road this long holiday weekend could cost you a bit more at the pump. According to Gas Buddy, the average price for a gallon of gas in Indiana is $2.99. We had some crews out overnight. They found that price at multiple stations in Marion County. We checked current averages for our neighboring states. A bit pricier to the west. Illinois averages $3.28. Michigan is also more than $3 a gallon, and Kentucky and Ohio are paying slightly less than we here in Indiana. And as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, today is the last chance for drivers and teams to dial in their race day setups for the Indianapolis 500. Rain could really put a damper on plans, but other plans are already different from the norm, regardless of the forecast. There will not be some of those traditional Carb Day staples like concerts or the pit stop challenge. Think of this as back to the basics, just about drivers getting behind the wheel for their final practice laps. Drivers will be behind the wheel for hot laps starting at 11 o'clock this morning. The 2-hour practice session will offer drivers a close simulation of how it will feel on race day. There's a lot of safety measures, of course, in place at the track to make today and the weekend possible. Masks, social distancing, hand sanitizer stations. Still, this is the first time fans are back for Carb Day in 2 years, so nothing will rain on the parade or the simple excitement there. Gates are open to fans now. They opened at 8 this morning. And there are still some tickets available online if you're interested in heading there, and kids 15 and under get in free with a ticketed adult. And we're seeing evidence of the impact IndyCar's female-led racing team is having. One girl is so inspired by the crew, she's changing her hairstyle. Brenna Donnelly got on Twitter and tracked down the mom and daughter behind the tweet that reads, "My girl wanted a side braid just like the women of Paretta Sport." Here's Brenna.
I like that it's all girls, well, basically all girls, and I think because none of the other race car drivers are women, I just think that's really cool.
Kelly Tingle and her daughter Elena love racing, and this year
I'm cheering for Simona.
Simona Di Silvestro, female driver on a female-led racing team. Tingle sat her daughter down and introduced them with several videos.
I was like, is there another video? I was super interested in it.
And one particular detail caught their eyes.
My mom said, "Do you want to have that hairdo?" And I was like, that's really cool, yes.
They took a picture and caught the attention of Beth Paretta, team owner, and her female crew.
It's all well and good to say that you want to inspire young girls, but then to have one actually want to emulate a hairstyle that you're doing that we just threw up because we didn't want to get our hair dirty with how oily our hands were. I think that's when it hit home.
Mallory Muller is a college athlete who transitioned to racing.
But I have a 4-year-old daughter, and so anything I can do to show her that she can be anything she wants to be and do anything she wants to do, I'm going to jump at that opportunity.
A message Elena's mom is hoping she picks up as well.
Sometimes girls think they can't do things that are really big and men can, because I don't really know why, but yeah.
Team Paretta doesn't always wear braids, and there's not a huge movement among little girls to wear them yet. But Elena and her mom say that this could be how it all starts. In case you want to join in, Team Paretta promised a tutorial video coming soon to Instagram. And please join us for Daybreak Race Day. Our coverage starts Sunday morning on Wish TV at 5 o'clock, keeps going until noon. You can stream it live on wishtv.com as well. We're going to have crews in the pits and garages. I personally will be in the pits with Scott Sander. Our sports team will be in the garages. Drew Blair will be up in the pagoda high above the track. We're going to be talking to fans, get first glimpses of the Borg Warner Trophy, and hear directly from drivers just before they race. We're also going to deliver weather and traffic early, so if you're going to head out to the track, we'll keep you updated on weather and traffic there. The owner of a candy shop in Anderson is sharing his side of the story after getting backlash for a job posting on Facebook. The post in question, Randy Good claimed female employees try to split each other up and dump their problems on each other. We talked about it here on the podcast. The post has since been taken down from the page, and Good says he does not feel like he needs to apologize.
It was my personal experiences with some of my employees, and I listed a bunch of other behaviors I have witnessed as well. Never inferred that it was more or less. I did say they were some, and those are the facts, and that's how I presented my experience.
Good also says that his business has never been busier since the controversy began. You can find the full story on wishtv.com. Eli Lilly and Company says it is cooperating fully with the government's investigation into one of its production facilities. The Justice Department subpoenaed Lilly for documents connected to a facility in New Jersey that makes part of its COVID-19 antibody treatment. The FDA says 2 inspections found problems with the plant. The company has previously told investors the issue never impacted product quality. Last month, the FDA revoked the emergency use authorization for the treatment to be used on its own. Lilly requested the change so that it would only be used as part of a combined treatment. Kroger is offering an incentive to get vaccinated. It's called the Community Immunity Giveaway. Prizes include 5 $1 million cash prizes and chances to win free groceries for a year. To be eligible, you must get your COVID-19 shot at Kroger. Those who've already gotten their shot can enter too. Kroger says its pharmacies have distributed more than 4.6 million COVID-19 vaccines. Golf great Tiger Woods is talking for the first time about his violent February crash, but not yet saying much about his future. He granted an interview with Golf Digest, a magazine he's also a contributor to, detailing his recovery in his first interview since his February crash. He tells Golf Digest that the rehab for his injuries has been more painful than anything I've ever experienced. The magazine asked if he has hopes of playing golf again. He had no comment, but says his number one goal is to be able to walk on his own again. The golfing great also expressed thanks for the support he's received around the world. He says it's helped him tremendously throughout his recovery. And as we've talked about on Daybreak here on the podcast, Woods was severely hurt and hospitalized for several weeks after his SUV rolled over in a crash. Indianapolis Animal Care Services is encouraging people who find strays to help the animals find their way home. The deputy director of IACS says the shelter doesn't have space for new animals. The shelter's sharing some advice for anyone who finds a stray. They say check the animal for a collar and tag, post a photo on social media in places like Lost Pet Alert or Nextdoor, and then finally take the animal to a vet to check for a microchip. The group behind the Oscars says that the 2022 ceremony will now happen March 27th next year. It was originally scheduled for February 22nd. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences says the eligibility period will return to its usual December 31st deadline. The group did not explain the reason behind the switch. Patients at Peyton Manning Children's Hospital have fresh new looks. The Kendra Scott Color Bar helped them design 2 pieces of custom jewelry. The first step, choosing the colors and style. Then workers with Kendra Scott used the playroom as an assembly area to bring the patient's visions to life.
Whether they're choosing earrings or bracelets or necklaces or whatever their preference is, then they get to sort of jazz up their hospital gowns. You know, they get to have a little form of self-expression.
The hospital says many patients decided to give one of their designs to give to a loved one. Priceline is sharing the top places for people going out for Memorial Day weekend. The travel company says Miami, Florida is the 3rd most popular hotel booking. Orlando is 2nd. Las Vegas tops the list. As for destinations closer to us, Chicago is 9th on the list. Flight bookings are only slightly different. Miami is still 3rd, but Las Vegas and Orlando flip spots with the Disney destination on the top. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.